Welcome to this presentation on angles. I'm Brian Smith, and so today what we're going to talk about is basically what an angle is and a few different types. So as we look in the world, we see that there are many different kinds of angles. And so let's go ahead and start with what an angle is. And so an angle is composed of two rays. And so I imagine a ray is coming from the sun, where it starts at the sun and it goes out infinitely. And so if we start with a ray and we add another ray, adding it to the same vertex or the starting point, then we get an angle right there. And so an angle is made up of two rays. So there are some different types of rays. The first one that we're going to look at is right angles, which are exactly 90 degrees. And so if we again use our ray and we have our other ray, right in the middle, if we were to measure it, it would be 90 degrees. And we use a box in order to show that on angles. An example of this would be a square that you can use for construction. Right here, it's exactly 90 degrees. The next kind is an acute angle. And so we talked about right angles because an acute angle is less than 90 degrees. So here's an angle which is made up of those two rays again, and it's smaller than 90 degrees. So let's take a look at an example. You see this building here as it stretches back into space, and if you put a ray here and a ray here, you'll see that it is an acute angle. So another kind of angle is an obtuse angle. So from our 90 degrees, it's greater than 90 degrees. And so you'll see that it opens up bigger. An example of this would be this drain spout here. If you look here, there's a ray and there's a ray. It's bigger than 90 degrees and it's opened up. Finally, our straight angles are angles that are exactly 180 degrees. So if you draw a ray and you draw one going straight out the other direction, it will equal a total of 180 degrees. And this is made up of actually two right angles. So an example of that would be on this pyramid here, and you have one ray there and another ray there, and it equals 180 degrees. So some examples that we can see in this picture here of this building going up into the sky. Our right angle, if we take a look, there's one right there. The window makes a really nice right angle. The next one is an acute angle. So as we look, we see that there's an acute angle there, and there's other acute angles, but that's just one example. Another example would be an obtuse angle, and again there's a few of them, but there's one right here that is bigger than 90 degrees, and so it's opening up wider than 90 degrees. And finally, we have our straight angle, and a straight angle is basically just a straight line with a point in the middle or a vertex in the middle that it could pivot from. And so here's an example of one. Notice that it's right on the edge of those two lines there where the vertex is, and then it goes out infinitely in both directions. Well, thank you for taking time to learn about angles, and I hope that as you start working with them, you'll be able to identify them a little bit easier after this. Thank you.